Good morning. My name is Michael Nunneley, and this is coffee time. As you can see by the size of this, I'm pretty serious about my coffee. Anyway, uh, this morning I just wanted to talk a little bit about my experience yesterday. Um, that was my first signing as a creator, and well, it some some things happened that caused me to think about some things, and that might sound negative, but it's not. Um, One guy who watched Coffee Time, the last Coffee Time video, had commented that I had inspired him to take control of what he could take control of, and do and like actually get his life together. And I was like, wow, that is a very huge compliment. You know what I mean? Like it. Yeah. I love it when people like my work, right? But to have somebody say that something that happened in my life could inspire them to want to do something in theirs uh, is, I think, one of the greater compliments you can receive. And this theory was confirmed for me yesterday during the signing. A guy showed up, and no, I had been used to having to introduce myself. You know, I'm not I've only got a couple of comics out. I've only been out like a year. I've only been a publisher for about a year. Um, but I'm used to having to introduce myself all the time to the people walking by or coming up to the table and telling them who I am, and you know what it is I do. And this kid, um, I'm gonna say maybe 16 or 17. I don't know. He looked like kind of an older kid, maybe 16. I'm thinking. Um, anyway, he came up and I went to introduce myself, and they're like, "Oh, he already knows who you are. He's a huge fan. They already read all about you online." And I was like, "What?" I mean, I didn't say that, but internally, I'm like, you're a huge fan before you got here. First, that itself was a pretty big compliment that a guy had actually looked me up online and uh, came there specifically to meet me because he was a big fan. That that meant a lot. That touched me. But what what made it what really what really got me, I guess, was the that he himself wanted to be a comic book writer like me, and that I was inspiring him to want to pursue this. And I instantly flashed back to my 12-year-old self. Uh, back when I was folding typewriter paper in half to try and make my own little comics, uh, and how I like to say I reach back through the time stream and give my 12-year-old self a high five every time I put out a comic. But this this guy this guy caught me there, like kind of on a nostalgic level. He caught me on a kind of a humbling level where I truly felt honored that somebody felt that way about me or my work. Um, but then I was really proud that I was part of what was inspiring him. I was part of that thing he's going to look back on and say, this is what started my journey. And I that I'm still floating on that compliment. Even after a night's sleep, that's just, that was just awesome. It was the best part of yesterday. I really wish I had gotten a picture, but man, I just didn't think about it at the time. Uh, I'm not used to taking pictures, but yeah, that was a very touching experience. Um, I don't know. I guess I'm curious. How about you? What's the highest compliment you could receive? Is it that somebody likes your work, or do you believe that it's that inspiring them is the greater compliment? And I'm not talking about inspiring them as an imitation is the highest form of flattery. I'm talking about inspiring them to want to do something with themselves or for themselves or by themselves or whatever. Anyway, let me know what your thoughts are. I'm kind of curious about it. I I'd like to know the general consensus. You know, like how, well, if someone was going to compliment you, how would be what would be the greatest thing they could say to do that? Anyway, this has been coffee time, guys, and thanks for sitting around and listening to me babble for a few minutes. Live long and prosper. Love you all, dude. Love the coffee.